These wondrous words from the wisdom of James, James thought to be the brother of Jesus, the first spiritual leader of Jerusalem in those early days. This is from the Message paraphrase, a contemporary rendering. So, my dear friends, don't get thrown off course. Every desirable and beneficial gift comes out of heaven. The gifts are rivers of light, cascading down from the Father of light. There is nothing deceitful in God, nothing two-faced, nothing fickle. He brought us to life using the true word, showing us off as the crown of all his creatures. Post this at the intersections, dear friends. Lead with your ears, follow up with your tongue, and let anger straggle behind. God's righteousness doesn't grow from human anger. So throw all spoiled virtue and evil into the garbage. In simple humility, let our gardener, God, landscape you with the word, making a salvation garden of your life. It is now my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Bambi Shen, a friend of many years from a very blessed place that we both called home in Kansas City, and that was Unity Temple on the Plaza. I think Bambi preceded me there, but not too far. So she's going to share with us today insights and reflections that connect with the wonderful writing workshop that we had this weekend. So give her your full attention and your full heart as she brings our lesson and meditation to us.
Oh, good morning to all of you for the third time. Thank you for trusting me to give me the chance to speak to your congregation, James. Well, the last time I was with you was on the Sunday when daylight savings time started. That was in March of this year. You received me so very warmly. My husband and I had the chance to stay with Karen Kane, and it was a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And several of you that weekend also purchased my book, which is my memoir. And even though it's a self-published book, it has been very successful, and it is now in its fourth edition in English, first in Chinese and first in Spanish. This book has also taken me all over the world on speaking engagement to university campuses, to churches, and to women's organizations. And last March, I suggested to Reverend Stacy that maybe the next time I come, we could have a memoir writing workshop. And this is exactly what we did all day yesterday for 7 hours. Almost 20 of you embarked on this adventure with me. Therefore, this weekend has been all about remembering and making peace with our past, loving and honoring our life story. Of course, the affirmation I sent James is that centered in your presence, Lord, I bless the people and the events that touch my life and made me who I am and what I am today. You know, Albert Einstein once said, there are two ways to live our life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. That you, as a congregation of this beautiful Lake Church of the Ozarks, has invited me this little old Chinese woman of 75 to speak to you, and you have given me such a wonderful and fun weekend is a pure miracle of the universe. My gratitude goes to all of you, and especially to Jackie, who has hosted my husband and me in her home and has cooked for all of us so well. And to Debbie, thank you, who organized and sponsored our memoir writing workshop. And of course, to James, who initiated this invitation, and to Catherine and Dean for a beautiful, beautiful boat ride. Although our past forms our consciousness, and I define consciousness to be the sum total of all we have learned, all of our experiences, and how we feel about these experiences. I warned you that looking back on your life and on these experiences could be painful, as if stirring the ashes of an old fire. At the same time, we could come to a better understanding on how we achieved our successes and increase our feeling of gratitude. I have always said that no one succeeds alone. While I was writing my book, I engaged a very special group of friends. We call ourselves the Wednesday evening potluck bunch. We get together every Wednesday evening. We are all excellent cooks. We love to eat and to share. We call ourselves foodies. Some of us are teachers, some are musicians, writers, gardeners, and some of us are just talkers. We are the ones who can straighten the whole world, right? Are you, are you one of these talkers? As I was writing my book, they became my encouragers and my listeners. Every week, they had me read what I had written the week before. They asked questions, made comments, and kept me going. If you have embarked with me in this writing your memoir or on an important and long drawn out project, have such a friend who can act as your encourager, your pusher, and also maybe you can be that friend for someone else. You can't imagine what help that can become. During yesterday's workshop, a lady by the name of Sky, is she here? There she is. She suggested that you form such a support group to support each other on writing this memoir. And during this workshop, I also ask you to bring a picture from your past and be prepared to orally tell the circumstances around that picture that helped you focus on the scene, jog your memory, and the feelings around that picture and around that time, and to get you in the spirit of writing your story, right? When I speak to a group where I can drive to instead of flying to, I always bring the picture that was taken of me with Elvis Presley in 1962. I will have that picture, instead of having it here, I will have it in the dining room after the service as we gather. Okay? That picture was taken in Memphis, Tennessee, where his house was, where he was living, and where I was going to college. Can you imagine? 1962? That's last century, isn't it? Anyway, I like to use the story of how I met him to inspire all of us to pay attention to opportunities that come our way and to dare take the courage to grab onto them and to do something positive with them. The story goes that when I was a student in Memphis, Mrs. Newby was my the international student club sponsor. On weekends, she often picked me up, as well as two other students who were boys from Indonesia. As you know, Indonesians have darker skin than I have. And in those days in Memphis in 1962, since they were not white, there were many places we could not go into, such as restaurants and bowling alleys. On one of those outings, Mrs. Newby asked us what we wanted to do, and I suggested that we go to see Elvis's house with its white wrought iron gate, Elvis's silhouette, and some design of some music score. You can picture those, can't you? If you're Elvis's fans. Well, there was a place for Mrs. Newby to pull off the road. And as the boys were taking pictures of the house, I approached the gate and saw a man just inside the gate. And I called out to him, "Hello, sir. Are you Uncle Vester, Elvis's uncle?" Well, to my surprise, he stepped out and I told him that we were foreign students and Elvis's fans. And he said to us, "Elvis just finished filming a movie called Blue Hawaii." Do some of you remember Blue Hawaii? He will be home next week and plans to have a party next Saturday. And he had me borrow the football field at Graceland High School, which is right next to his property, and so that his buddies and he could play touch football. Well, if you come back next Saturday afternoon, I'll ask him to say hello to you. He really appreciates his fans. Well, you think that we weren't parked right there the following Saturday afternoon? Well, you see, if I had not had the courage to speak up, I would have missed the opportunity to meet Elvis and have this picture that I will show you later to prove it. So pay attention to the opportunities that come your way and grab onto them and do something positive with it. Some of you know that I received my master's degree from the University of Missouri in Kansas City. Last year, I had the honor to receive from my alma mater their award named Defying the Odds Award. It was a bronze statue of a kangaroo, the mascot of that school. A seldom known fact about that animal is that it can only hop forward. It is absolutely impossible for a kangaroo to go backward. Did you know that? Well, to me, it symbolized that the kangaroo and symbolizes what Confucius taught, that which is done, there is no need to speak about. That which is past, there is no need to blame. Well, contrary to that spirit, we spend the weekend looking at our past, speaking and writing about them. But it is for a positive reason, to share our story, maybe with our family, or for publication, as I have done, or, may I add, for the good of our future care. Please allow me to share a fact that we may not wish to face. Many of us are living the autumn of our lives. I know that at 75, I am living my harvest and enjoying it. I travel all over the world sharing my story. My book gives me such a platform. In October, I will be traveling to mainland China under the auspices of UMKC, lecturing at Peking University and two other universities in Xi'an and Yan'an, both as sister cities to Kansas City, Missouri. But someday, I may no longer have this kind of energy. My husband, Gene, works for a very upscale retirement facility with people at different stages of physical and mental abilities. One of the caregivers, who is an art therapist, gave me an invaluable insight. She said to me, "I wish I knew the story of their lives." She's talking about her patients. The story of their lives is to be able to help them better. I know nothing of their likes and of their dislikes. What music touches them? Remember how yesterday we mentioned songs that touched our heart? What were their hobbies? What did they do in their lives that they are proud of? And she said to me, "If I were taking care of you, it would be so much easier. All I have to do is read your book." See? See, you may wish to consider this angle as the reason to share your story by writing it down. Okay? I know for a fact that James devotedly took care of the last years of his mother's life. He knew all about her likes and dislikes. Therefore, he was most effective. After her passing, he returned to Kansas City, where he had spent so many years. Then, as the universe directed, his past led to his present with you, and I'm sure you feel blessed to have him. I found out that next week he will be celebrating his first anniversary with you. Right? Thank you. But we at the Mother Church, that we call Unity on the Plaza in Kansas City, miss him. Did you realize that he was the historian of that building that houses our congregation? There's not a corner of that church he does not know or have a story about it. That's our James. In my life, one of the most difficult part of my story was the 9 years I spent taking care of my mother in Taiwan, in a Chinese environment that I was totally unfamiliar with. I'm what my friends call a banana, yellow on the outside and white and with little black dots on the inside. Because I had never lived in a Chinese community. I was born and grew up in the Western world, first French, then American. That was a challenge I took only because I needed to keep my word to my father, having promised him that I would watch over her in her old age. Remember, this is when I created the Chinese carry-out boxes as a spiritual exercise to accept, adjust, and appreciate the changes that come into our lives. And you are participating in this exercise, which will end on Sunday, November 1st, when you will bring back the boxes of change back to this church, and you will start the cycle again. Right, James? Until next spring. So our life story continues as one season follows another. So do remember, as the poet John Donne said it so well, No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. We are all interconnected. And again, as our daily word said for us today, I openly give and receive the gift of love. And we are blessed to be able to do that in this congregation and in our world. This weekend, we have had the chance to re-examine our lives, loving and honoring our stories. We remember how all the parts came together to form something beautiful, challenging, and useful. Even the mistakes we would love to be able to erase from our memory help make us who we are today. We are grateful to be able to see the good that came from them. So may we always look back without regret and look forward with hope, knowing that our lives are full, wonderful, and beneficial to those around us. So I thank you for giving me this time to share with you, and I bless you with the wish to find peace in every step. Thank you. Do we want to move right into meditation? So now as we move into meditation, with palms together, I honor the divine in you. Today, I will guide you through a traditional Buddhist practice called sending loving kindness, which means sending prayers and blessings with an unconditional love. I invite you to straighten your spine, close your eyes if you're comfortable, take a few slow deep breaths, breathing in to the count of 4, breathing out to the count of 6. Breathing in, breathing out. Become totally present to this time and this place. The affirmation for today is, centered in your presence, Lord, I bless the people and the events that touched my life and made me who I am and what I am today. Compassion can be instantaneous, but forgiveness is an act of will. It may take some time and some work. Today, we make peace with the memory of our past. I breathe into my heart area. I now think of an event or of a person I need to forgive, or a person who needs to forgive me. I take this person into my heart. I strive to understand, and I say to him or to her, please forgive me if I have ever caused you pain and suffering through my desire. Please forgive me if I have ever caused you pain and suffering through my desire. Please forgive me if I have ever been impatient with you. Please forgive me if I have ever been impatient with you. Please forgive me if I have ever spoken ill of you. Please forgive me if I have ever spoken ill of you. Please forgive me if I have ever judged you or made you feel inadequate. Please forgive me if I have ever judged you or made you feel inadequate. Please forgive me if I ever looked at you through the eyes of prejudice and dissatisfaction. Please forgive me if I ever looked at you through the eyes of prejudice and dissatisfaction. Please forgive me of these things so that I may give more freely to you. Please forgive me of these things so that I may give more freely to you. Now, my dear one, just as I wish to be happy, may you be happy and peaceful. May you be happy and peaceful. May you be healthy in mind and in body. May you be healthy in mind and in body. May you be safe and protected in all ways. May you be safe and protected in all ways. And may you be free from suffering. And may you be free from suffering. We end our meditation by remembering that today is the first day of the rest of our life. We strive to be a beneficial presence in our world. We pray to be the best possible stewards of the gift of life. May we go live in our world with a clear mind and a peaceful heart. Take a deep breath and allow your attention to return to this time and to this place, to ourselves and to each other. We say body, speech, and mind in perfect oneness. In perfect oneness. And so it is. Amen.